Over the past few decades, a number of companies have rewarded customers with shares of their stock instead of other frequent flyer type of program, free stock. To do so involves the federal securities laws, perhaps other laws, and it can be messy. Today on Zippy Point.
Quick Zips by Zippy Point.
Quick and dirty. I'm Brock Romanek and I'm a big fan of yous. So before the internet, a few companies had conducted free stock offerings over the years through offline channels. Dr. Pepper did one in the early 1980s. But the birth of the web in the mid-90s initially increased their popularity as part of a marketing strategy, mainly due to the ability to easily and inexpensively communicate with large groups of people. So there was a flurry of these kinds of things in the mid to late 90s when I was working at the SEC and sort of the internet guy in Corp Fin. So I was intimately knowledgeable about them. The popularity of these loyalty programs quickly faded, but there have been others over the years. The most recent ones have used a customer stock ownership program that had been built by an internet broker called Loyal3, which had a platform designed to facilitate the ability of customers to participate in a company's loyalty program. Loyal3 first helped a few companies with their IPO. A percent of the IPO stock was issued under the customer stock plan reserved for customers. And then Loyal3 moved on to help a few other companies that had more traditional loyalty programs, except stock was given instead of points. T-Mobile did this in 2016, free stock in exchange for customer referrals. Then Loyalty3 went belly up, so I don't know when we'll see this again. On its face, it seems natural to turn loyal customers into shareholders, but in practice, it's a bear. One sticking point is the practical administrative headache of keeping track of these shareholders. And if you screw that up, you may turn off a loyal customer unnecessarily because you're trying to give them free stock and they can't get their free stock, or they can't exchange it, or for whatever reason, and they get frustrated, and then you're going to lose a customer. So for example, I remember the first online free stock offering that was conducted by travelzoo.com back in 1998. And the company had difficulty locating the people who had received free stock when it sought to conduct an exchange offer. The only contact information it had for many of these customer shareholders were email addresses, many of which had changed and did not have forwarding information. And then you get to the legal issues. For the securities law issues, consider whether the company has to go through the costly and time-consuming process of registering the stock with the SEC and possibly with the state securities regulators or maybe even foreign government agencies. So in the late 90s, when I was working at the SEC, Corp Fin rejected several no-action letter requests that argued that online free stock offerings didn't have to be registered the way they were structured, according to the facts in the no-action requests, because there wasn't a sale. And some criticized the staff's thinking at the time because these people argued there wasn't a sale involved. And then there are some no-action letters out there where there are free stock offering is considered to be exempt from registration. And so it's really a facts and circumstances determination how the company has set these up. Back then, a few companies did indeed register the free stock offerings with the SEC. Two that come to mind are U-Network and drsurf.com. I believe those were the first two. And then in 2005, here's an example from one from Jamieson Inns. It took 5 amendments to Jamieson Inns Form S3 to get that thing declared effective by Corp Fin staff. And it's perhaps possible that some companies over the years have structured their free stock offerings to comply with an exemption from registration with the SEC, somehow relying on Regulation D, and then dealing with the state securities laws. So I remember way back when, in the 1990s, a company called USPages.net registered its free stock offering in 27 different states. Sounds like a lot of work. And then once a company is public, if it's not otherwise public, but because of the free stock offering, now it's a 34 Act reporting company, it then will be required to regularly file quarterly and annual reports, deliver proxies to shareholders. I mean, it's costly. And then you have to consider other types of laws, whether state law requires that stock be issued as consideration and how that law is interpreted. There might be tax law issues. So it really can be a real mess. But it has been done. It'll just need some pretty heavy lawyering before you even get into the nitty-gritty of how you administer the thing. So the idea of turning your customers into loyal shareholders is a nice one, but in reality, I think it can be quite difficult to pull off. Let me know what you think.